Let me tell you about the day the Galactic Council made its greatest mistake. I am Ambassador Talon K. Vex of the Sente Alliance, and I had a front-row seat to what would become the most consequential political blunder in the history of spacefaring civilizations. The Grand Council chamber sparkled with its usual pretentiousness that day. Hovering platforms arranged in concentric circles held representatives from 200 species, all draped in their finest ceremonial robes. The human delegation stood at the center platform, looking remarkably composed for a species about to be rejected by the galaxy's most prestigious governing body. High Counselor Zaramteth, with her characteristic 7-foot-tall frame and shimmering scales, rose from her seat. Her voice boomed through the chamber as she announced the Council's decision. The petition is denied. Earth's technological advancement rate is deemed too aggressive. Your species' propensity for rapid military expansion poses an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. The chamber erupted in murmurs of agreement, though I noticed several ambassadors shifting uncomfortably in their seats. The Arcturus representative beside me whispered, "That's rich coming from a species that invented planet-cracking mining operations." Minister Benjamin Hawks of Earth maintained perfect posture, though his knuckles whitened as he gripped the podium. Next to him, Captain Lyra Novak's face remained neutral, but her green eyes burned with an intensity that made several council members uneasy. Hawks cleared his throat, silencing the room. "Distinguished members of the council, while we respect your decision, we feel obligated to point out the short-sightedness of your judgment." Teth's scales rippled in annoyance. "Are you questioning the wisdom of this council, Minister Hawks?" she asked. "Not at all, High Counselor," Hawks replied, smiling. "I am merely suggesting that in your eagerness to contain humanity, you may have overlooked a fundamental truth about our species." Captain Novak stepped forward. "We didn't come here seeking permission to advance. We came extending an offer of partnership." Several council members chuckled, but I noticed Mdetha's secondary gills had stopped fluttering. The human delegation turned and began walking toward the exit. But before leaving, Hawks paused at the chamber doors. "A word of advice, esteemed council," he said, his tone dripping with political sweetness. "You might want to reconsider your policy on independent technological advancement. You never know when you might need friends who think outside your carefully constructed box." The doors closed behind them with a quiet hiss, leaving an unsettled silence in their wake. I looked around at my fellow council members, most of whom were already returning to their usual self-important discussions, but I couldn't shake the feeling that we had just witnessed something significant. "Rather dramatic exit," commented Ambassador Tack of the Ral Confederation, his tentacles curling in amusement. "Indeed," I replied, watching Teth trying to restore order to the chamber, "but I can't help wondering if we'll come to regret not having humans inside our circle of influence." Tack's tentacles waved dismissively. What could they possibly accomplish on their own? They're centuries behind most council races in technological development. I smiled, remembering the glint in Captain Novak's eyes. That's exactly what makes them dangerous. We've just told a species known for resourcefulness and determination that they're not good enough for our club. 5 years passed. It's remarkable how much can change in 5 years when humans set their minds to something. I should know. I've spent the last half-decade watching them with growing fascination from my diplomatic post near Earth's solar system. One morning, my aide, Renar, called me to the observation deck. Through the station's view screen, I witnessed what appeared to be a ship performing impossible maneuvers. The vessel, sleek and angular, executed a series of rapid spatial jumps that shouldn't have been feasible without tearing itself apart. "What in the name of the 7 moons am I looking at?" I demanded. Renara's antenna twitched nervously. "The humans are calling it the Thunderbolt-class destroyer. It's their newest warship, equipped with something they've dubbed quantum slip technology." I felt my facial ridges flatten in disbelief. "That's impossible. The Council's best scientists determined that quantum manipulation at that scale would require at least another century of research." My aide hesitated. "Well, sir, apparently nobody told the humans that." The next few months brought more surprises. Reports flooded in from across the sector, each more alarming than the last. The humans hadn't just been busy, they had been revolutionary. Without the Council's restrictive technology-sharing protocols, they had taken an entirely different approach to space travel. Then came the day I met Admiral Victoria Stone, the architect of Earth's new space force. She had invited me to tour their primary shipyard hidden within the asteroid belt of their system. As my show approached, I was stunned by what I saw, massive shipyards constructing vessels unlike anything in the Council's fleet. They were designed for speed, adaptability, and resilience, built with the sole purpose of ensuring Earth would never be at the mercy of another civilization again. Admiral Stone greeted me with a firm handshake, a human custom I had grown accustomed to. "Impressive, isn't it?" she said, gesturing toward the fleet. "When you rejected us, we realized we had two choices: beg for scraps or build something better. We chose the latter." I studied her face and saw something I had not seen in any other species, a quiet, unwavering resolve. "You've done in 5 years what it took other civilizations centuries to accomplish," I admitted. Stone smirked. "That's what happens when you tell humans they can't do something." Then came the moment the Council feared most. A galactic crisis erupted when the VR-elect Dominion violated interstellar law by seizing an independent trade colony. The Council, bound by its bureaucracy, debated sanctions and diplomatic responses. But the humans acted. Within 72 hours, their fleet arrived in Dominion space, disabled their warships with pinpoint efficiency, and extracted every hostage without firing a lethal shot. The message was clear. Humans did not wait for permission to protect their own. The Council reconvened in an emergency session. Teth's voice was uncharacteristically subdued. "The human intervention in Dominion space was effective," she admitted. "Too effective," another representative muttered. I leaned forward. Perhaps we were wrong to dismiss them. The chamber fell silent. For the first time, the Galactic Council faced a new reality. Earth was no longer an applicant seeking approval. They had become something else entirely, a power unto themselves. And the galaxy would never be the same again.